Amazon. That name may ring a bell. It's one of the biggest companies in the world, and a company that I've personally used plenty of times to buy something that I may have wanted or needed. And I'm willing to bet that you in the audience may have used Amazon a couple times as well. It's a pretty nifty service. But at the same time, Amazon also has some major downsides and negative impacts, even local ones. For example, the city of Seattle, Amazon has contributed to vastly increased housing prices, gentrification, and homelessness. So today, we're going to be going over the problems Amazon brings to Seattle, how they can be difficult to deal with in some situations, and lastly, how to support some non-Amazon companies in this time of social distancing and quarantine. So Amazon seems pretty cool on the surface. They're a massive marketplace where you can buy pretty much anything within reason. But Amazon being in Seattle as it is both a blessing and a curse. So Amazon contributes a lot to the economy of Seattle with the workers it brings in. However, a lot of these workers come in as an influx of highly paid workers. And this is good on one hand, but on the other hand, it raises the living prices in Seattle exponentially to the point where that it can be hard to keep up for many middle or lower income families. And that in turn leads to an increase in gentrification. So an article by Robert McCartney in 2019 for the Washington Post stated that since Amazon has started building in the Central District, the African American population has actually went down by 6%. And this includes a few historic businesses and the like. So living expenses are also another thing that continue to increase across the board in Seattle at a very high rate. Elaine Thompson for Politico magazine in 2020 stated that the median housing price in Seattle has went up by 69% since 2012, while the majority of people in Seattle actually make under $50K a year. And keep in mind that this coincides with a very dire homelessness problem that exists within Seattle, and the more expensive the housing gets, the harder housing is going to be to obtain for the people of Seattle. So, contributing to the problems of Seattle in one way or another is one thing, but how Amazon may address their part in the problem is another thing entirely. So, Amazon pretty much has a stranglehold on the economy of Seattle, for better or worse. And if Amazon were to pull out many of the resources it had in Seattle, it would be somewhat economically devastating. In fact, this is something Amazon has threatened to do on certain occasions in the past. Amazon decided to threaten to pull out many of their developments around the downtown area of Seattle in response to a big company tax that was targeted at fixing Seattle's homelessness problem. An article by Rupert Neat in 2017 for The Guardian says that Amazon threatened to move resources out of the city when the tax itself was proposed. But on the flip side, one Boston professor, Barry Bluestone, was sourced in an article by Lydia DePillis in 2018 for CNN, saying that the tax was, in the first place, predicted to repel some businesses. So it can be seen why Amazon would not be completely on board with this tax, but when you look at the contributions they put forth themselves in order to fight homelessness in Seattle, mixed with the giant investment and impact they have in Seattle, it doesn't look as good when the only contribution they have is one 200-person shelter, which is something, but some may say not a lot. So Amazon, for its ups and downs, it's a very convenient resource, especially in this time of quarantine. There are, however, a few other options where you may be able to get your groceries or merchandise just as safely. For example, many stores right now are offering curbside pickup and delivery when they weren't before. In fact, Madeline Stone for Business Insider in 2020 stated that curbside pickup has actually helped many businesses that have been affected by COVID-19 manage to keep up sales and stay in business in the first place. And this doesn't just include small businesses, but maybe some bigger ones like Target or Walmart. And so I would urge the audience to purchase and support local businesses who need every customer they can get in order to stay in business during this trying time. And personally, in my opinion, supporting local businesses over a company that's somewhat shady, choosing not to support that company, is a win-win. So it's a crazy world right now, and Amazon may be a safe choice for a lot of people, but it's not the only decision, and there are other safe choices you can make. So hopefully today I've convinced you why maybe Amazon should not be your first choice. Instead, you could look towards some other local businesses to support who may need it. Thank you.